Hey everyone, welcome to the Friday the 13th episode of the Matt Daddy Weekly Roundup. Got a bunch of books to go over this week, over 20, so we're back to big piles of books to review again. Let's jump right into it. First off, like to take a moment and say, hey guys, if you don't have a second or two, or maybe some point later on the day, go on and be a member of our social media site. Jump on the YouTube page there. Become a member in that. Trying to get those numbers up. Same with the Facebook and Instagram. Really would appreciate that. Also, don't forget that we have our own exclusives in that. So that's on the Nat Daddy webpage. If you want to reach out on the Facebook page, we can always help you with that as well too. Of course, we have that new Josie book coming out very soon too for the 60th anniversary of Josie and the Pussycats. Just got a few copies of that around, so I believe they're going to be around $15 or so. Don't know the exact price just yet. Those come in towards the end of October, early November, to coincide with, like I said, the 60th anniversary of Josie and the Pussycats. So awesome. What else is there? We got the tags show coming up this weekend. Luckily, I do get to host this weekend, and it's going to be the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show. So again, anything Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle related. I happen to throw up a monster related one there because it is the Halloween season there. So maybe someone will draw some kind of turtle and a monster. We will see. Who knows? But again, that's on Saturday evening, 6 o'clock Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. You get to see me and four very talented artists. So check that out. All right, let's jump right into our books. Start off with some covers of the week. How can you not like these covers? I was only going to pick one cover, but these ones immediately stood out to me, and I couldn't say one was better for the other, and all for different reasons. First one there we got is from the Amazing Spider-Man 35 this week. Maybe it's 36. I think it's 35. And this is their Stormbreakers cover, so one of their variant covers there. Just a great Marvel zombie Spider-Man, so perfect for the holiday season. In the center there, we got the newest issue of Mad Magazine. I know it's not really a comic, but it is a magazine with a lot of comic stuff in it, so it is kind of comic related. And I'm always a sucker for the action figure covers. So we have a Barbie action figure cover here of Alfred E. Newman. So that's pretty hilarious there too. And then on the end here, we have a book that we'll be reviewing later on in the episode. It is the new version of Gold Key Comics is out, and they have Boris Karloff Gold Key Mystery. So definitely looking forward to reviewing that later in the show for you guys. Our friend Kelly Williams doing the art for that. Some awesome nostalgia feeling there. So let's jump into our books this week. Start off with the first couple digital ones that I read this week. We have from Marvel, again, jumping into that holiday Halloween theme here. We have Cap Wolf and the Howling Commandos. I thought it was just a one shot, but it's not. It's a couple issue series or maybe more. It's a story that takes place back in World War II. Captain America is just kind of starting off as working with the soldiers and that. He's not well familiar with the Howling Commandos and Nick Fury in that. So they're in a battle somewhere, and Nick Fury ends up getting injured, and Cap is tasked with leading the Howling Commandos. And they're not all too fond of Cap. You have to kind of figure he's just more of a marketing employee. They don't realize how good of a soldier in that he is. So when they're out doing their war stuff, they're a scout or whatever like that, they end up being attacked by these Nazi werewolves, and Cap ends up getting turned. So we will see what happens there. I thought nothing much of this, just a bunch of fun Halloween fun. Cap's been a werewolf before in the 80s. He got turned into a werewolf, different reasons and stuff. But I saw online in a couple of reviews and stuff that people are hating on this book just because, now they're saying the retcon, and this Cap was a werewolf before in the 80s there, back in the World War I. I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not. I think this is just kind of like a one-shot story, doesn't really tie into anything canon-wise, but I guess we'll see from there. But I just took it for what it is, a fun Halloween-related Captain America as a werewolf story. From Sandman, I did get this week physical, but I got a blank copy because I like getting those blank copies for my artist friends to do. We have Wesley Dodd's The Sandman. This is the Golden Age, so the original Sandman, and they're kind of retelling it for the dawn of DC. So I enjoyed this. It shows how he wants to use his sleep gas to for peace, to prevent war, or if there is war going on, to kind of subdue all the combatants in that. And the military doesn't see it as that, so even though they kind of fire him and get rid of him in that. So great story start here. I liked it. It's a good start so far. I like what they've been doing in DC a lot lately with all their Dawn of DC stuff. So bringing back some of these Golden Age heroes and calling it the new Golden Age. So they've done it with the Flash and Green Lantern as well, and now the Sandman. So we'll see who else pops up as well. Lastly, of my digital books this week is from Dark Horse. We have them continuing on. Space Usagi. This here is Space Usagi, to fight all these. It's weird. It says it's Space Usagi, but the whole book itself, besides like the last maybe page and a half or two, is just normal Usagi Jimbo. So he's got a story, lots of monsters and creatures, and he's fighting there. So again, perfect story for a Halloween season. And it turns out the end, it is just a comic or manga that a little girl is reading in the future, which it turns out to be the daughter of Space Usagi, and she's reading a manga or a comic of her ancient ancestor and that. So kind of neat little story there. Again, just the one shot. So I don't even know why they really had to call it Space Usagi, because again, it's mostly just Usagi, but it does introduce Space Usagi's daughter. So I'm sure at some point later on they're going to make a big deal about that. So, or at least invest in that character more. So this was a fun book to read if you're just looking for fun adventures with Usagi Yojimbo. All right, let's get into our main books, or raw books, I should say. All right, first we got a lot to cover here, so I'm going to be bouncing all around. So I hope you enjoy what there is. All right. Again, like I was just saying, from DC, we got these Dawn of DC stuff, launching a bunch of new things. We have this Batman and Robin series. This is issue 2. We covered issue 1 here, and I really liked it, and I just wanted to print out issue 2 is pretty cool, too. Does introduce more of that character Shush there. She's kind of like a female version of Hush. We'll see if she actually is tied and has connections to Hush or not, but neat story so far. We got Bruce and Damian living in the city, kind of lost all their money a little bit now. So they're a little bit, I wouldn't say they're poor, but they're not way less wealthy than what they were. They're dealing with that. They're out there still being Batman and Robin. And it seems like all the animal-themed characters of Gotham have now tried to team up and have something going on that way. So neat thing going on there. I like this. Pretty good. This has been a good start to a new series so far. Okay. All right, let's jump into that book I was talking about a little bit earlier. I was very excited to read this. One, because I'm a kid of the 70s and 80s, so Gold Key comics are very nostalgia to me. Gold Key and Dell and Whitman stuff, it was all super cool. They have a lot of horror stuff back then, a lot of adventure, fantasy stuff, and also just a lot of licensed stuff in that too. So if you read comics in the 70s and 80s and 60s, you definitely read Gold Key stuff. That company's been defunct for many years now. And then a bunch of business guys bought it either last year or the year before, and now this is their first book that they have put out. It's Boris Karloff, the great old former horror actor, and it's this Gold Key Mysteries. So it turns out there's like this House of Mysteries type of thing where this kind of enchanted or magical or supernatural house that this organization that looks like kind of like a black bag CIA type of thing is looking for, and always pops up in that. And they're always sending in teams to go in there, and they never come out type of thing. And I guess while they're inside, or like that, the kind of books ends it. And while they're inside, they tell stories of what's going on inside this house here. Kind of like the Twilight Zone, and that's each room has like something going on. So neat anthology series starting off, and Boris Karloff is like the host or the crypt keeper per se of this story, and that's so great. Lots of fun supernatural stories in here, and our friend Kelly Williams does the art for it. So much like on the cover there, his art bookends the beginning of the story and the end of the story. Like I said, where this government agency is trying to infiltrate this house and use it in all its supernatural abilities and that. So great start to some old nostalgia there. Gold Key Comics. I'm going to reach out to Kelly. I think he's at New York Comic Con this weekend. I'm going to reach out to him and see if he'll come on the show and talk about it, because I know he was super pumped when he got that project. So. From Sumerian Comics, we have American Psycho. So many of you remember the book and the movie of this. It's great, one of my favorites. Christian Bale's in it. So this picks up directly sequel to the movie and the book, where there's Christian Bale's character, the American Psycho, has stalking and killing women. And it turns out at the beginning of the story of this comic, there's a guy who's obsessed with this woman, and he's stalking and following her in that and watching her. And it turns out she just happens to bump it, the Christian Bale character, and ends up being killed by him. And the stalker guy's watching this the whole time on binoculars or something. So now he becomes obsessed with the new with that Christian Bale character. And then it jumps forward a bunch of years, and then it's again, I guess this character now is this new person many years later, and it's kind of like a sequel to American Psycho, but now it's more in the digital age, and like this character is very social media obsessed. So see where it goes from there. So like I said, it's a sequel that's almost like a spin-off type of thing as well. So I enjoyed it. It's got some great art in here. Very graphic, not for kids. Lots of nudity, lots of sex, and lots of blood and gore too. I didn't know how they could do a sequel to American Psycho, but they made it work. From Scout Comics, we have Mom Breaks the Internet. This is a neat story here. I really did like the art in here. It's very colorful and flashy, and very sharp, detailed, fine lines, kind of that realistic looking. But yeah, just some great colors in here too. It starts off, there's this teen girl. She's organized this rally against the president of the United States, because he's shutting down all their apps, all their communication apps and that. So like, things I guess would be like WhatsApp and stuff like that. They're trying to silence them, and that's part of the story. The girl gets arrested, and even though she's done nothing wrong, the cops all they're all kind of crooked, so they're all, they make her look like the bad guy. They end up beating her, and they end up doing it looks like they end up doing some kind of sexual assault to her as well too. Her mom at the same time is the super amazing computer tech person who gets fired or let go from a shitty company that she helped get through the whole pandemic and that, and now they're downsizing and they get rid of her, and they're kind of dicks about it. So this is all going on, and the mom just kind of decides, has a little bit of a breakdown, and decides that she's got nothing left to lose. So she's going to end up go out and kind of be like this, this terrorist type of person, and just kind of get back at everybody, and become like, I'm almost like a vigilante hero type thing. So we'll see what happens there. Like I said, I really do like the art. It does kind of seem like, I won't say cliche, but I mean, I've seen a lot of stories like that in the last few years, because I guess it does happen to a lot of people, and this is like their ultimate, what if I could, change it type of thing. But it was fun. Something else that's fun and silly is I always like these Garbage Pail Kid stuff, because again, like I said, I'm a kid of the 80s, so the Garbage Pails are very nostalgic. So we got more of that Garbage Pail series. new version or new volume. While this time they're time traveling and they end up in 80s New York. Everything here is like a multiverse type of thing. So now that it's not just them that are Garbage Pail Kids, it's everybody's Garbage Pail Kid. So they're dealing with that. It's kind of like setting a multiverse follow type thing. So I think only if you are a Garbage Pail Kids fan, you'll appreciate that. But if you do buy it, they do have a pre-collectible card that comes with it. So if you're a collector, that's cool too. All right, from American Mythology Productions, we have Witchhammer. We kind of saw a little preview of this a few months ago, and they put out a preview comic of a few different characters, and this being one of them. This takes place in World War II. You have the Third Reich trying to call forth monsters and demons to weaponize them and that. And you see them at the bottom there, and you see this other woman here who apparently is like a witch demon hunter. She comes up at the end of this book to deal with these creatures and these monsters and that after like I said, after these Germans and these people have brought them forth. So it's a fun book so far. It's not the greatest art on here, and everything is okay, but again, it's not super amazing art. I do like the story in that, but yeah, that's all I have to say about it. There's some pretty cool monster in there, but again, nothing super amazing art-wise, but the premise is kind of neat. I remember thinking that too when I saw it before. I thought this is very independent, and even though that company, that American Mythology Production, does put out some bigger stuff now. From Dark Horse, we have Operation Sunshine. One of many books this month coming out that's vampire related, again, to the holiday season. You have this young woman here who is a vampire, but they kind of have like a tier system, and she's what they refer to as a bug, who's someone like a lower on the tier, and they do have like a higher kind of archaearch. What is it called? Archaearch? I can't remember what it is. They get one is like, I won't say slaves, but they definitely seem inferior, and the other ones are like more snotty nobles and stuff. So it turns out that these younger bug ones, a few of them have kind of gotten this team together, and they want to steal this artifact from the higher up nobles, and maybe change themselves back into non-vampires, into humans. So we'll see what happens there. I did really like the artwork on it. Like I said, it has these cool kind of thicker lines in places now. But again, too, just some cool coloring, lots of monsters and vampire stuff in here. It is pretty cool, I must say. I did like it. It's just that, again, with so many different vampire themed stuff this month, it kind of gets lost. So, because we have another vampire one coming up in here a couple books later that I enjoyed as well, but I just liked it a little bit more because it was different. So. All right, we have a thicker one here. A little bit of a thicker one, hardcover or harder stock cover from Fair Square Comics. We have Zom Vikings. This is a kind of small group of survivors stop a massacre and save humanity. In a small Viking village, the locals are eagerly waiting for the return of their courageous warriors and their longboats. They're expecting all sorts of riches and jewels and other treasures, but one comes back will spread death and destruction of an unimaginable scale. Who lives, who dies? And that's exactly what I was going to describe it as. This a Viking village. They're waiting for this Viking party to come back after traveling and coming back with their spoils from whatever they came back on their like I said, their adventures. And when the boats show up, people start coming off, and they're zombies. So now these people are dealing with this zombie outbreak, and yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. Artwork's pretty cool in it. Kind of has that a little bit of that Magnolia feel to it. So I kind of like that and the coloring that. And I just realized now, looking at it when I was looking at the on the screen here, that's definitely an homage, I would think. Maybe not, but definitely an homage to that Spider-Man #1. It looks like so, but I don't. May not think about maybe it's not, but pretty cool book here. Unfortunately, this book is like almost $15 or $17 here. It says in Canadian, so I don't know if that's worth it for that price, especially when there is an issue 2. But it is a good book. I did not realize that was so expensive. Issue 2 from Fish Flies from Image, Jeff Lemire. This actually came out a couple of weeks ago, but it got pushed. Well, I wouldn't say pushed back, but didn't get released because there was a printing error inside. So all the shops were told to hold their copies and destroy them. So they came out this week again after reprinting them. And this is that weird, fun story of, well, I wouldn't say it's fun, but it's this weird story about this, this one girl. She's a little different. And she finds this giant fish fly bug that's really a guy that was attacked by a swarm of fish fly bugs after he killed a kid. This guy is I can't remember if he broke out of jail or if the cops are just wanted looking for him, and he ends up shooting a kid. And like I said, after this, these fish flies all kind of swarm him and kill him. Because this town has like these fish flies outbreaks all the time. I don't know if anyone else is familiar with that, but I am. I live in the prairies, and if you go to the beach here in summertime, you get these fish flies, and they're harmless little creatures. They're just around for a day. They eat mosquitoes, but they're horrible and disgusting, and they swarm, and they die, and you have to step all over them. It's gross. So this is all happens in the story with this town. It's known for that, but now this guy, like you said, has been turned into this giant kind of fish fly. And this girl has found them and is kind of like accompanying him. So, and the whole time, the town is looking for this person who has killed this kid. So we'll see what happens there. But weird story, but kind of neat, and I enjoy it. And it's by Jeff Lemire, so one of my favorites. Okay, from Blood Moon Comics, we have the next 2 of them. This one is called Simon Says. It's got some really dark artwork in here, very, very graphic. The whole book itself is very dark and graphic. It's about a guy who's he's a mental patient. He's in a hospital, and he keeps hearing these voices in his head all the time that keep telling him to do bad stuff. And I guess that the voice is named Simon. So no, he's always telling him to do bad stuff. So he ends up killing his doctor during a session, escaping and that. And now he's out there and everybody's looking for him. He's going around killing these people. And it just keeps getting worse and worse. He keeps hearing these people. But at the same time, too, maybe these voices in his head is actually like a demon in that. And it's trying to get out. And it turns out there's a whole lot more to it than just in this kind of schizophrenic guy. So very, very graphic. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll pick up another one or not, but it is a pretty cool story. I could definitely see it being turned into a book of sorts, or not a book of sorts, a TV streaming service of sorts, but we'll see. But again, kind of gets lost a little bit too, because we covered that other book last week about possessions. The Devil Has My Face. So. No, The Devil Wears My Face, sorry. All right. Also from Blood Moon Studios, we got Signal 29, and this is about 2 New Orleans medics that respond to a seedy motel to pronounce a dead body, but it doesn't quite as it seems. Again, I thought this was going to be like a zombie book as well too, and I thought, oh great, another one. But it kind of is, but kind of isn't. Like it says, you do have these 2 EMTs that show up to this notoriously Skid Row hotel. They go in there and they find this dead guy, but apparently the dead guy's only been dead for 15 or 20 minutes. But when the EMTs find him, it looks like he's been dead for a week. And then everybody in there starts turning all dead and that gross, and I guess turning into like these come back from the dead creatures as well. Turns out that the military or some kind of weapon agency had chose that building to test a new kind of weapon, some kind of bioweapon, and it has that effects on them. So they end up blowing up the building and framing the EMT people as kind of EMTs that have gone went crazy just to cover this all up, and that's all it is. So that one short story of just that. So kind of scary. I was a little shocked. The bad guys definitely win in that one. All right, from Archie, we got from the Archie horror stuff. We got Welcome to Riverdale. We got the character Ginger Snap. She's coming to Riverdale to see all her friends, and all her friends trying to convince her to move to Riverdale and how it's this perfect place in that. And it almost has like the Stepford Wives feel to it. So everyone's trying to convince her to join this town and that, but they're not allowed to look in the mirrors. It's kind of crazy, but again, too, it's just a one shot introducing this Ginger Snap character to there, and it's all right. I enjoy all these Archie horror stuff. Cool art, that's for sure. So that's kind of cool. Okay. From DC, we have a big black label book here. We got Batman, the City of Madness. So this is, deep below Gotham. There is another Gotham. They say this is an area of Gotham that's been buried for many, many, many years. And the Court of Owls have been slowly digging their way out, looking for this gateway, this doorway that kind of almost, I would say, almost like the Upside Down universe, where it's just another dimension where there's lots of evil. And again, the Court of Owls want to access it to harness it and that. So they end up opening it up, but instead of finding monsters and stuff like that, which there are, this other creature comes out. It turns out this other creature is kind of like their version of the Batman. So now this Batman is in Gotham, going around causing all this craziness. And again, it looks like Batman is doing this, killing people and that, when it's actually this dark version. So it's kind of like a Batman meets a Lovecraft type of story. I enjoyed this as well too. Again, it has that large treasure size and some really good artwork in here as well too. All right. From Marvel, we got the Superior Spider-Man Returns. Apparently, it's been 10 years since Doc Ock took over Spider-Man's body and mind and became the Superior Spider-Man. I can't believe that. There's no way it's been 10 years, but there it is. So I guess the Superior Spider-Man's going to be coming back soon. And this is kind of a recapping story to bring everybody up to speed on it and introduce the new story at the same time. You got Doc Ock going back to where he used to work when he first turned himself into Doc Ock at the Atomic Lab, and also where he worked as when he was Spider-Man. He's trying to remember how he made this ultimate weapon or ultimate savior device, but he can't remember because a lot of his memories from that time he just doesn't have access to. So he's there and he's going through stuff. He's trying to just figure out stuff. And while he's there, he actually does remember the event and that. At the same time, releases this new villain out into the open now to go after Spider-Man, who thinks Spider-Man is responsible for her being trapped there and her being changed in that when it was Otto in Spider-Man and that. So yeah, it's a good start, I guess. I'm not sure how the Superior Spider-Man is going to become again, because like I said, Superior Spider-Man is actually Spider-Man with Doc Ock inside him. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But I like this new villain that they came out of here, Supernova. So we'll see. All right, just a few more to go because, like I said, this was a big one. From Image, we got Haunted Girl. This one's kind of neat, very, very dark and realistic, and it deals a lot with mental health. You got a 16-year-old girl named Cleo. She's adopted, and she's had a very rough time of life lately. She's had been in quite a depression, and she's had some suicidal thoughts, so she spent some time in a mental hospital. And now she's trying to get back into the normal struggles of life at school and everything. At the same time, too, she does keep having these dreams of these monsters and that are approaching her, and these ghosts. And is she actually seeing this stuff, or is this all part of her part of her mental health issues? So we'll see in that. It's kind of, there's a little bit more to that as well. It turns out in the end that maybe these ghosts are trying to approach her because she's like a chosen one, or like a supernatural person herself. So we will see. Pardon me. Sorry guys, I have a dry throat. Keep choking here. All right. From Image, we have Wildlife, not Wildlife, Midlife, or How to Be a Hero at 50. This book I kind of related to a lot, so it made me laugh. You have this guy who just turns 50. He kind of shows what it's like when he was, I guess, in his early 20s and his life was starting out. And then it flashes forward to now where he's 50 and what his life has become. And he's disappointed a lot of stuff. I won't say like a lot of people are disappointed, but life isn't what he thought it was. So he's dealing with all these issues. He's kind of, I don't want to say depressed, but definitely has like this melancholy life. And he's always feeling kind of shit on because he's always taking care of everybody else and feels kind of not taking care of himself. So again, what most people feel like with everyday life. And then at the end of the story, he runs into a burning building to save it. I think it's a dog. And while he's in there, the building collapses and explodes, but he ends up being unharmed at all. So is he like invulnerable now all of a sudden because he turned 50? Is he going to be a superhero? We don't know. He doesn't know. But lots going on here. It's a fun book. Brian Bucciolato does this, and I kind of recognize the pattern there because it's kind of similar to the Chicken Devil book he did too. Same type of thing, where a guy kind of has this regular melancholy life, and then all of a sudden this extraordinary event happens, and now he's got to deal with all that on top of his regular life. So kind of cool, kind of funny. I liked it. Midlife. From Dark Horse, this is another one of those. Is it Dark Horse? Image. This is another one of those vampire comics that all bled together this week. Although this one I liked a little bit more. You have this group of kids that all kind of live together, and this one guy's moved in with his cousins. I guess his parents passed or something, and they live with a vampire in that too, because vampires are all around everywhere. And they spend a few years together, and the one vampire gets super close. It kind of seems like the dad of maybe one of the kids ends up showing up in life again. He's gonna get involved in that, maybe make them being part of some bad stuff, like maybe crimes or cons and stuff. We don't really know. But at the same time, too, seems like maybe this one dude's gonna try to move away from there and better his life. But again, too, now has to deal with this and with the vampire and that. And he thinks that maybe him and the female vampire maybe in love. Who knows? But at the same time, too, we find out that it flips to the future, and it turns out that the vampire girl somehow causes like the end of the world type of thing. So a lot of things going on here. So bounces around from the past to the future as well. So Sui goes from there. I did like this one more than the other one, Vampire, like you said, just because it is something a little different, even though it does have the vampire. All right. Lastly, we have from Image Top Cow. It's an okay book. I didn't really care for this one too much. It's just ironic it ends up being the last one. We got Destiny's Gate. We have a man that's on his way home to his family. He steps on the train, and while he's on the train, he keeps seeing some kind of horrific stuff happening on there. And it turns out that now he's like on this path to all these different areas, and he's trying to get back home. At the same time, too, he has this horrible supernatural creature chasing him at the same time. So, I don't know. Again, it was okay. It was all right. I kind of read so many books this week that it didn't really stand out too much. So I think it's going to be okay. But what I didn't understand was, I don't know, maybe I just need to read the second issue and read it all back together, because it just kind of seemed to happen. There wasn't really much going on, and all of a sudden it seemed to happen. And I could be wrong as well too, but I think this is maybe based off a video game property. So I'll have to see about that. I'll give a second issue to check it out, because maybe, like I said, maybe it's just there's so much going on. You need more than one issue to get it all going. So that's what I read this week. Sorry I kept you guys so long. That's a long show, but there was a lot of great books in that. Hope you're enjoying your Halloween season. It's New York Comic Con this weekend, so check out your social medias for anything cool that's going on there. And maybe on Saturday night I'll see you at Tags. Like I said, Tags this week we do have the Ninja Turtle stuff going on, so pretty cool to see that. All right, everybody. We will see you, I guess, later on this week. I will let you guys know later on today what the FOC is for this week. Get those final order cutoffs in. Otherwise, peace out.